Okay, so when you look at the way that everything kind of has come together over the years, and your four sons at the helm right now, they each bring a little bit something different to the table. And you said something to me the other day about you don't want them to agree all the time.
No, absolutely not. Disagreement brings a lot of different opinions, and the only thing you don't do is hold grudges. I could not stand that. No one has all the right ideas, so not one out of four is exactly right, correct all the time. Never. So if they vote, which I mentioned too, somebody loses, yeah, don't pout, suck your thumb, move on.
And that's what's got you all where you are now.
Well, that's got to continue with other next generation too.
We're here today at McCarty Family Farms, and not just at the dairy, but right here at the home of Tom McCarty, the father of the four boys that run McCarty Family Farms. And we sit down to hear about his story as a lifetime dairyman, the move that his family made from Pennsylvania to Northwest Kansas almost 25 years ago, and the progress that this family has used to drive themselves forward, not just as a family, but as a family business. So in this episode, you'll get to hear straight from Tom McCarty himself, some of the history of this business and some of his best advice for the rest of us. This episode is sponsored by Uplevel Dairy Podcast founding partner Adiseo, a global leader in nutritional solutions and premier provider of rumen-protected methionine for dairy producers who want to optimize milk production, capture more value from components, and maintain the health of their high-performing herds. I am really curious. So apparently you have some things that you say often, some sayings that must be often enough that they have them on the wall in the office.
Sure. Don't be complacent and always look out the windshield, not the rearview mirror. Always. So, I mean, I firmly believe that. You know, it's just don't worry about what's back there. Just that way.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
And you're sick, and it served you well.
Pretty much, but no, it's awfully easy to. Some people just cannot. Look at I've got some family members that were always talking about the past. Sure, that's important to know and understand that too. But my God, look at.
I do want to ask you a little bit about the past, just because your story's so cool.
Obviously, for us to make a move, which a lot of people thought we were insane. I guess I don't know. I mean. If you do your homework and think and don't worry about the past, just keep rolling. You knew what you were getting yourselves into when you left. Sure. Nothing was on a whim. Absolutely not. No, I did a lot of math, and I had other people check my numbers, and nobody could find any fault with it. Potential cash flows, expected cash flows, things like that. It's pretty simple math. And it was pretty accurate. So have you had some people you kept pretty close all these years? Especially at those points in time, kind of sure. Advisors or? Yeah, but did a lot of work with Penn State Extension. And I got to know there were three guys at the time when they moved or anticipating moving that were in K-State dairy specialists, and we got to be friends and so all the math that I did, I had these guys out here check it out too, and yeah, I was pretty close. I mean, things evolve, and obviously there's been a lot of change around this place. Yeah. Just keep, if there's an opportunity, run with it. So we do. So what do you think was the greatest opportunity that you and your family
have taken advantage of since you laid down roots here?
Since the beginning,
Yeah.
I would say wide open spaces.
What
The
do you mean by
opportunity to
that?
grow. Opportunity to grow. Well, I was around a lot of different areas in western Kansas, and so they all had their statistics for a year on. Well, basically, it boiled down to were they feed importer or feed exporter? Well, Thomas County was a feed exporter, which is a much better place to be than a feed importer, like down the road south. Oh yeah. So I mean, it's just a fundamental thing. But you want to go where there's feed.
What about water? What about water back then?
Water back then was not as much of a concern as what it is in today's world, and our understanding of water back in Pennsylvania, you just drill a well.
Yeah.
Drill a well.
There's plenty of it.
Yeah. Very plentiful. And this was, but we ended up in a pretty good spot. We sit on top of the Ogallala Aquifer. And yes, we're in a pretty good location. But there's a lot of push taking place currently to conserve. And that's well needed. I mean, we've seen a lot of change in 20 years here from the way that people, I mean, there was a tremendous waste of water in this area, tremendous. And
in what way?
Just simply overwatering like corn. And my God, totally unnecessary. Now we use like water probes. So there again, you got to believe in it, the science, and it pretty much works. So it's changed a heck of a lot, and that will continue. More restrictions. Yeah. So, which is okay. Just have to learn to work with less water, and it can be done.
And you guys have done that.
Oh yeah. But we can't quit. Got to keep getting more conservative.
What's the next level of conservative look like?
Well, just adapt different technology. Simply pay attention and take advantage of any new thing that comes along that will help you get to that, to achieve that. It's a major thing in this area, major water conservation, and lots of state regs coming down to make sure that you do. So it's getting more difficult, but it can be done. Might have to change cropping programs, things like that. All that can be done. Just adapt.
So you don't see that as a barrier?
No, not really. No. Just be a good steward of the land. So we try to be. Well, I think we are.
Yeah. Does that make you proud?
Well, sure, it's just something you should do. I wouldn't say I take a lot of pride in it, but it's something that needs to be done, can be done, and we do. So, nah, I'm not a very prideful.
So you talked about one of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of was the wide open spaces, and so these spaces have filled in over the last almost 25 years from what started as a house, a dairy next door with about 700 cows.
Right, which that was from the ground up too.
From the ground up.
Oh yeah, there's nothing but a wheat farm, wheat and corn. No, so we bought the house, the shop, little garage, and that was just wheat field.
And I call it a greenfield site, but I'm guessing it wasn't green, was it?
Not really.
A brownfield site, huh?
Yeah. But anyway, so we did all dirt work. The original freestall barn was set up for about 750 cows, and that was everything ground up. No, there was nothing here in terms of buildings.
So did that excited you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, and since that time, you have filled in with the milk plant that's right outside the window,
Yeah.
the heifer yard surrounding us.
Yeah.
There's still the dairy that's right here on site.
Correct.
And across the road, the new
Sure,
build.
just steady, just keep pushing.
But there's still a lot of wide open space yet.
Yeah.
What do you see when you look out there? Not today, but in 25 years from now,
Well,
what do
I
you
think
see in these wide spaces?
well, there'll be more expansion here. I'm convinced of that. Like the processing plant, I think that's where a lot of the growth is going to come next few years. That will be expanded, I'm sure.
That's the gateway to the future of this business.
I think that's going to be a big part of it. Yeah.
So go back again, 25 years ago almost, when you came out here and started dairying. Was that ever part of what you potentially saw as a long-term plan?
None.
To
Zero.
own
Zero.
that part of the system?
No. But it's everything boils down to opportunity, and if it appears to be sensible and you can get financial backing, then do it. So we do.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that you had to face as a dairyman? And not just here, but even in your lifetime as a dairyman?
Milk pricing. Back in the 60s, 70s, even before that, everything was based on parity. I don't know if you're familiar with parity pricing, but we could predict every year where we're going to be. And we got our milk prices are based on 80% of parity. That parity basically cost of living. So obviously the cost of living always goes up. So the milk prices gradually kept up. So we got paid, as I remember, 80% of parity. And then get the free market trickle down. I won't get into that. I have views, strong ones, and
you can share them.
I'll get in trouble. But anyway, trickle down economics, I definitely do not buy it at all. But anyway, so we went from about 56 cents of the consumer dollar to 20-some cents because of political changes. I'm right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big challenge in your lifetime as a dairyman.
Sure. But so basically that's one thing that's worked out to be create a numbers game. If you can't run numbers and work with small margins, you're history. That's reality. I don't necessarily agree with it philosophically. I hate seeing small dairies disappear.
Yeah.
But trends are trends. So
trends are trends.
Deal with them.
And you saw that writing on the wall back in Pennsylvania.
Easily. I mean, if you can see it, you're wow.
So was it your dream, you and Judy, that all your boys would end up in the dairy business someday?
If that's what they chose. So, I don't think I pushed it. I really don't. They may not agree.
But some of them took different paths or were on their way to do different things. But something brought them all back together here.
I would say they saw opportunity.
Yeah.
We like cattle, so like the business.
Do you consider yourself a cowman or a businessman?
Oh, combination.
Yeah.
Combination. But it's important to think and think things out. Don't just base everything on some whim. Think it out. If it looks like it's going to work, go for it.
And your boys all have different skills that they've brought with them.
Sure.
They?
I mean, it's a good combination. I always say they're all different, but they're all the same. in terms of vision.
Mm.
So
How do you describe their vision?
they're aggressive. They want to do more and do it better. Growth will be. I mean, we're always going to grow. I mean, that's just the way we're built. So that's us.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, and we plan on winning.
So as you say that, that's kind of a mentality that you have as a family. What were some of the values that you, as a dad, you wanted to make sure that your boys grew up knowing?
Work hard, think hard, push, and they have.
Yeah.
They're smart.
Work hard, think hard, push hard.
Push. Just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Because there's always opportunities. Always.
You talked a little bit about vision, but where do you see them?
I would say steady growth. That's very satisfying. And I think that growth, wherever it may go, like we talked about the plant, that's going to grow. I'm sure of that. And, more cows, more land. I don't know. Don't know. Whatever fits. Like where it's going to fit long term, not just a whim. You got to be smart moves.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good at it.
And they've learned from the best, huh?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, you've done a few things right. Oh, what's been the most rewarding of all of this?
Well, just where what we've established at this point.
What do you think is going to take? So zooming out, looking at the industry as a whole, what's it going to take for any dairy to be successcul for another 25 years?
It's definitely going to consolidate more and more. That's a given. So how do you keep pace? How do you compete? And what that's going to take, I don't know. But by God, you've got to be determined. There's going to be less and less farms that count. The percentage of milk that's being produced, I mean, it's controlled by a very, very small group nationwide. Very small.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's still about 15,000 dairies across the country, but it's a small percentage of that produces, 95%. That's going to keep shrinking in numbers.
Yeah, so you see that continued consolidation.
Absolutely.
And it was what you saw in Pennsylvania years ago already, too.
It was, so obvious.
Yeah. So at that point, when you and your family made the choice to leave Pennsylvania and come here, the other option on the table would have been to just be done with dairy.
Correct.
Why'd you stay in it?
Potential opportunity.
Mm.
You can't be complacent and sit there doing the same little thing. So.
And that's one of your mottos, isn't it?
Pretty much.
And you've instilled that in your boys too. Can't be complacent. I think I've heard it from almost every one of them.
Well, it's tough to defy that view. That's the way it is.
Yeah, it's not an option, is it?
Well, no, but if you just want to sit there and be static, you're going to fall behind. You can't do that. So whatever evolves over the years, I don't know. But it won't be the same. No.
And okay, so when you look at the way that everything kind of has come together over the years, and your four sons at the helm right now, Mike, Clay, Ken, Dave.
Correct.
They each bring a little bit something different to the table.
Right.
So let's go through one by one. What do you believe Mike's greatest strength is that he brings to this family and this business?
Oh, he's laid back, pretty visionary. I mean, I would say that's pretty much holds true for all four. They look ahead, and I don't know if there's a lot of difference.
It's that common values and vision that brings them all together. And you said something to me the other day about you don't want them to agree all the time.
No, absolutely not. Disagreement brings a lot of different opinions, and the only thing you don't do is hold grudges. I could not stand that. No one has all the right ideas, so not one out of the four is exactly right, correct all the time. Never. So if they vote, which I mentioned too, somebody loses, yeah, don't pout, suck your thumb, move on.
And that's what's got you all where you are now.
Well, that's got to continue with other next generation too.
And what's your advice? What's your advice for the younger generation? Not just your grandkids, but kind of that whole generation of young people that are coming into the world right now. If you could leave them with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Learn how to work physically.
That's a lost art, huh?
It's a diminishing art, and don't expect things for just because you're you. It's not going to fall out of the sky. My God, don't like that. No, you got to work for it. And exercise is good physically. And it's also very good to exercise your brain. Like, what percentage of our brain power do we actually use? 12%, 13, 14. Come on, there's a lot there.
How have you done? What's the secret to staying sharp and staying mobile and active?
Well, think and move.
Think and move.
Yeah, that's about it. Think.
And don't stop doing it?
No. Why would you? Why? Just can't quit. I've said that 15 times. But no, I like what we've done. Yeah. And potentially where we're going. Potentially.
Yeah.
We do not know, do we?
No. But you keep looking ahead, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. My God. Every day is going to be a new day, so just keep pushing. Look around. Look how people evolve and see their mistakes. I made a few. Yeah, quite a few, to be honest.
Any regrets?
No, not really. No. Maybe I regret that my ancestors camped out back east. Yeah, a lot of opportunity in this world. Lots.
And you still see it, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. One big wide open space.
Very much so. Opportunity.
So of the many things that I picked up from you, Tom, one theme that keeps coming up, I don't know if this is on one of the boys' walls anywhere, but the work hard, think hard.
Yeah.
And I think you said play hard too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do my best.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Is there anything else that you want to share? You shared a lot, Tom.
Well, I think between myself and the boys, you've pretty well seen everyone's opinion, their ideas, a lot of similarity, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty admirable. It really is what you've been able to achieve by doing all these things that you talked about, and not just that you said them, but you lived them.
Pretty much.
The work hard.
Think hard.
Think hard.
Yeah. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Don't be complacent.
Nope. Ever.
No grudges, no complaining. Be stronger together.
That's pretty well sums it up.
Yeah.
Sure. But you gotta instill that in kids.
This episode is sponsored by Uplevel Dairy Podcast founding partner Adiseo, a global leader in nutritional solutions and premier provider of rumen-protected methionine for dairy producers who want to optimize milk production, capture more value from components, and maintain the health of their high-performing herds.